has your wife always, who wanted to be in real estate first, you or your wife?
Oh, me and Joy. Oh, well, there's no doubt. I mean, anybody who you ask already knows. And so, like, she wasn't in it like that.
Oh, she was.
I mean, we weren't real estate people. Like, I mean, honestly, dig it. Like, some people, they grew up in it, they knew stuff about it. Like, we did. We working regular people. That's how we grew up.
Okay, so yeah,
The whole real estate thing was new for both of us, but I was definitely the one who was in there first, and then we kind of went from there.
Okay, yeah. And did she eventually come around and willingly go with you, or were you kind of dragging her along, or was it just you guys locked arms and climbed that down together? How'd that go?
You know, here it goes. And so, I mean, you'd have to kind of get into the whole story. So neither one of us knew anything about investing in real estate. We knew about Dave Ramsey. And so Dave Ramsey, we had $1,000 in the bank. That was that. It was good to go. So
yeah, that's at the yes.
Step one, Dave Ramsey, we thought we was good.
Yes. Well, we kept 2,000 because we black.
Right.
So that's one of the things I always like. After I took financial piece, I was like, you know what? No, my wife and I was like, we black. We don't have 2,000. It's just what it was, because we used to get tires. We used to have conversations about tires. Like, hey, we got to replace a tire, and it's $100.
Right.
Do you think we should replace a tire, or should I go get a used tire?
Right, go put the plug in.
Go put a plug. Well, yeah. Am I going to get a used tire? Because I used to buy used tires for years.
Right. Is it bad I still buy used tires?
They're still out there.
I got this still out there.
I got $50.
Yeah. I thought what used it. You know what I'm saying? And so are you first generation real estate?
Yeah.
What about you?
Kind of, my grandfather dabbled a little bit.
Okay.
But he was, not so kind of, I had a little background with it. But, it kind of leads into our story, for today.
Love in real estate.
Yes.
All right. And I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock.
And welcome to the Investor Tribe podcast.
If that's the tribe, y'all. It's the tribe,
We are so excited today to talk about love in real estate. We're your host, and Milton Ali and Hampton Scurlock, and we're joined today by John Mays. He is the president of the Kentuckiana Real Estate Investors Association. John, along with his wife, Joy, they're our marriage coach, active real estate investors, and entrepreneurs. They're passionate about helping married couples achieve financial breakthroughs while prioritizing love and family. Known for being hot, which is humble, open, and transparent. And John and Joy have traveled nationwide teaching and coaching on real estate investing, business acceleration, and leadership development. And you can tune in and hear John's journey of serving families through affordable housing and redeveloping homes in West Louisville, Kentucky. Let's get started. John, welcome.
What's going on? How you doing?
That was a great introduction, and he's also an author, so I want to hear more about this book, too.
And she's an author, and...
What don't you do?
Yeah, I know, man.
Dad, author, Korea president.
Yeah. Well, we got a few things going on. Honored to be here. Obviously, whenever you can be part of something that's fresh and new, like y'all got the whole digs over here. It looks great, doing the podcast, but, to be able to support people who really do this business, people who really out here doing it.
Well, welcome to the Investor Tribe.
This what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we get to, we need to introduce you, to be honest. I guess being our first podcast being released, we need to introduce ourselves a little bit as well. So
yes,
let's like to see that. We want John to go first. So it's
you know what? It's interesting because this came about first through the Investor Tribe, and so the Investor Tribe is a collection of real estate investors and professionals, led by professionals to help the investor throughout the real estate journey. And within a tribe, we do need people that can serve in every level. And we are starting off today's pod with John. And I think it's so important because while we love real estate, there is also a lot that kind of goes into it. My background is I'm a real estate agent, and I've been a real estate agent since 2017. I've sold well over 200 homes. I've helped dozens of individuals and investors get their start in real estate. I've helped people sell portfolios, and I've helped individuals buy portfolios and start portfolios. I'm also a coach, and I'm also a trainer that is certified with one of the largest real estate organizations in the U.S. And so I help a lot of people, and I'm just grateful to be with my partner, Hampton and we on this journey together, man.
It's been a fun journey, done a few deals.
Yeah.
Yes, and I guess, yes. My background is I was a financial guy. So for years, I was financial planner, certified financial planner. Also do accountant work. So we're preparing taxes, help people save money, make money, build their financial future. And I was, good at it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't have a whole lot of control over the markets. And I was practicing what I preached. I put money away. My wife is a good, a country girl, pretty conservative, and she's pretty good about saving money. We're both pretty frugal. You'll learn that over, of course, the podcast. We'll have a lot of money saving tips for you. But I looked at what my clients were doing, the ones that had were millionaires, had money and traveling the world, wearing Hawaiian shirts and living the good life. And I was like, I want to do what they're doing. I just need to do what they're doing, invest in what they're investing in. So started buying, more real estate and got serious with it in '07 when the market was going down, and people were getting out of real estate. And people were, a lot of foreclosures, things out in the market. I was buying up all that I could with using retirement savings, all, what money we put back, able to buy quite a few houses, a lot of good deals at the right time. That really helped, propel my real estate business. And then, but I didn't have a plan. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I just found two $5,000 houses, used some retirement account money and bought them. They were paid for, so they cash flowed like crazy. And after a few months, I had a few more thousand in there. I got to buy a third house. And then I was paid for with cash, and then I got to buy a fourth house. It just snowballed. And stumbled into wholesaling by accident. I didn't know the term. Again, didn't have a plan, didn't know what I was doing. Once I got going, I kind of found a mentor, bought Mike Butler's book, Landlord and the Autopilot. He's going to be a podcast guest, so he's another, best-selling author. And bought a few houses and accidentally wholesaled a house. Neighbor came out, cussed me out. He saw that I paid, maybe $30,000 for this house. And he said, I would have paid 37, and he cussed me out up and down. And I looked at him and said, well, you seem like a nice guy. I was told to kill him with kindness. He wasn't a nice guy, but it's like, I got to deal with this guy. He's going to be money. Tell you what, I'll sell it to you for that price. Shook hands. I didn't even change the lock on the door. Just sold the house, made $7,000. Oh, come on. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. I just need to go find some more deals and pass them on to other investors or people that buy in bulk and find wholesale, sell on retail. And, that's how I got stumbled into wholesaling. Well, my investment journey just started by following those that were successful and I figured out along the way. Was fortunate enough to find, people like, John and Korea, Mike Butler and Milton and to help me along the journey to, financial freedom. And after a few years doing that, I don't need to work. I have to wear Hawaiian shirts. I can retire. I can just do this real estate thing.
But it's not quite at the Hawaiian shirt stage in my life.
You could pull it off though.
Yeah, I could. Yes, I'm not quite there yet. And so, John, how do you balance the demands of running multiple businesses with maintaining a strong and loving marriage? Like, how do you see that? I didn't do that, man.
That's a loaded up question. Yeah. Well, I think it's just having our shared vision. I think is the biggest part. And so for me and Joy, the thing that got us going and fast tracked everything we did is getting on the same page as far as what we wanted.
Okay.
And so I think a lot of people get a little bit confused with what they want because they start thinking about a car, or house, or they start thinking about some stuff. And, when we really look back, we said what we wanted is really more of a state of being. And so, we have a vision. And it's hard to even talk about all this without my honey dip right next to me, So shout out to Joy Mays, who's not here.
Yes.
I have to get her back.
Shout out. Yes, we do. We got to get Joy out.
Yeah, we got to get her out. But having to share a vision, ours is being abundant in Christ, healthy, and walking our anointing every day without money getting in the way. And so we just looked at money as a barrier to us being able to do the things we needed to do. So we just wanted to make enough money so money couldn't stop us. So now, we're able to take on a youth pastor role at a church, Christ Temple Christian Life Center. I was able to be the president of a nonprofit that helped me to get started in real estate, which is Master Builder Academy. And I'll tell you more about that. And then also to be the president of the Kentucky Real Estate Investors Association, which really put the gas and, lit it all up with these wonderful connections and things.
Awesome. That is
to be able to do books and coaching and things like that. Those are things that we designed our life to do. And so those are the things we love to do. We've been purposed to do it. We're anointed to do it. We got our hands to the plow. We don't, have a bunch of hobbies. We just love it. So we designed the life to do the things that we really love to do. And if you can do that together and then just let money help you to accelerate the things that you love to do, then there's nothing that can get in your way.
At what point? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to I have to tell Milton a little about that the other day, but how did we meet, or what was the start?
Oh man, it was great.
Oh, your real estate.
It was great, yeah. So I had, so let me tell you, so this, you asked me earlier about, Joy, who got in real estate first, me or Joy. And so I got in there first. And so I was kind of taking the lead on it, reading all the books, talking to people, coming to Korea. I'm all hyped about it. She would come with me to Korea every once in a while. We were just kind of getting into it. So we ended up buying our first house. So we bought our first house, and I'm telling you, I made all the mistakes. So I was like the handyman, I'll be, I had a full-time job, and, I'm barely over there. I'm over there fixing stuff up. Like, I could do a thermostat, like 3 wires, You can do it till you class. You're right. Big start, all the stuff, And so anyway, I get the first tenant in there. I'm all excited about it. They pay me the first month's rent, last month's rent, and a deposit, all cash. And I come home and I throw this money up in the air. I'm like, got a stack of cash. I'm like, I told you. Right. So then it was horrible, man. Yeah, it was a bad situation. And so I was in like this low boat where I got my first property. I fixed it up. Then the tenant who's not paying is now calling all the time because stuff is not working. And then they like have it all. It was just a bad situation. And I was like, I found out that you're supposed to screen tenants. That's crazy. Oh, you're supposed to like go on the sheriff's website. And come to find out, the cash he gave me was the cash he owed the last person. And then the new car he got was because his last car got repoed. I found that out with a little bit of research. And so I was like, okay. So I was in a low spot. And so I'm at the Sky Zone with my kids just hanging out. They're bouncing, they're playing. I'm feeling good. We're having a good time. I'm walking by and I see a book just sitting there. It's the same book that Hampton just mentioned, Landlording on Autopilot. And I just glanced over at it. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting book. And I was like, tell me about it. And so he said, you got to get this book. It's pretty cool. And then he starts telling me about Korea. And then he starts telling me about, hey, we have this lunch that we go to on Tuesday. I was like, okay, I'll go to a little lunch. I show up to this lunch. And I'm telling you, everything shifted. It's because I started meeting people in the local area. I had a few connections from Korea, but I didn't really feel all the way comfortable there. But when I went to the lunch, I met some people. They immediately came out to my property, and I had a couple of them by then, and they were like just wanting to show me different stuff and got connected, bought Landlording on Autopilot, got that tenant out, got a good tenant in there following the steps, and then we just kept growing and accelerate faster and faster really through those three relationships. So
that's awesome.
But no, shout out to Hampton, who was like, you got to come to this thing, man. Like, so when you talk about people who are really doing it, but really giving in their personal life, he didn't know me from Adam. He didn't know me from anybody. He just seen me look at a book and he was like, you got to come to Korea. You got to come to this. You got to. I was like, okay, man. He was so convincing and passionate about it and welcoming that changed my whole perception of Korea, changed my whole perception about the investor community. And so I really...
It set you on a completely different path.
Absolutely, no question.
But I love that. I totally love that. What are some of the common financial challenges that married couples face? How do you coach them to overcome them while keeping the relationship strong?
Yeah, well, it's about fear. It's the big thing. And so most couples, like, for one, if you have a stable marriage, you're more than likely not poor because there's a very low correlation to people who are married for any significant amount of time and poverty. So you're not in poverty. You probably live in a a normal life, if you will, where you can go to the grocery store, pretty much get what you want. You live in a house that's pretty close to what you want. Might be not your dream house, but you're not, dying of, whatever, can't afford air conditioner, can't afford heat. You can get your groceries, your kids have their basic needs, things like that. And so I think most people, they come from an environment where just getting by and being comfortable, and they have a fear of doing anything more that might disrupt their comfort. And so comfort and fear is probably the biggest issue of what keeps people from getting involved financially in real estate.
Tell me more. So tell me more about the comfort. What is it about comfort that can be so
comfort? It's addictive. It's like, for me, let me tell you,
like a
even more so, because this is a drug that you don't know you're addicted to. And so like, you take a person like us, we grew up, our parents were working class people. My mother was a teacher, my father was an HVAC mechanic, and then turned to be a building manager. Joy's people, they had different jobs and just kind of did different things, but they lived a very, very modest life, and she grew up in West End, Louisville, 34th and Lockwood. And so you got two people who didn't grow up rich with a whole bunch of connections. My parents were the most successful people in the family. So if anybody ever needed to borrow something and they looked up to somebody, they were looking up to my parents. But what I found is that I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. You all know Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, yes.
If you would have read Rich Dad, it just described my whole family structure on how we grew up. We didn't know we was broke. And so that's the issue about comfort. Comfort says, get a car, pay it off, get you a nice car, get you a house the best you can afford, get you a job, and just ride it out, pay off all your debt and just ride it out until you can retire. And then once you retire, then you can just sit back and then you can do nice things. Well, that worked for a generation. In our generation, it don't work. And there's a thing called comfort. And I was in a comfortable seat. I'm going to tell you, I did that formula, and it didn't work it worked to be comfortable, but it didn't work to be able to be free. And so you got to make a choice as if you want to be comfortable or if you want to be free. And I think comfortable is it creates a fear of freedom, because I can be comfortably sitting in a situation, going to a job, and here's a good situation. Like, people tell me they put God first, but how you put God first when every time we got Bible study at church, you lock down working overtime, mandatory. You lock down doing these other things because you putting that first, because it's a priority for you. You don't have to work there. You choose to work there. And if it's time to take time off, to like, we're going to take all these kids to summer camp, for instance, I got to work. Well, what do you mean you got to work? Well, I can't get off. Well, you can get off. You just don't think your vacation time is worth enough for that. Or you don't feel you made the decision to be in that environment. And then, too, the money that you're getting from that, you feel so comfortable with it in your living situation that you don't want to take a risk of messing that up. Because health insurance business, you got your health insurance, and don't let them throw that retirement at you. So now I got a 401k that's building up. Some people still on the pension. Oh, man, I got this pension. I just got another 15 years. Man, I'm going to be on my pension. Man, bro, you don't even know you'll be up 15 years. So I think sometimes we over-index in believing that thought. If I can just stay right here for long enough, I'll be all right. And it's a fun thought. And most people, there's some people who are going to be okay with that. But I believe that the people who really want to grow and do real estate as a lifestyle, you don't want to wait until you all old before you really put your energy and effort into it. You're going to want to do it while you still got some life in you, some, vibrancy in you. And that's going to create some risk, because it's going to shake up your comfortable situation. Your 6% match on your 401k, and people are scared to break free from those different things, to take control of their own schedule, have inconsistent money coming in, and then to be able to do things on their own terms. So I'd say that big thing, comfort and fear, if they can get past that, they'll be successful.
And Robert Kiyosaki, a lot of entrepreneurs talk about what does job stand for?
Just over broke.
So a lot of people, they can't overcome that fear, or they're afraid of change or the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I know that's one of the first steps that many entrepreneurs and real estate investors, talk about. What got them on their path? How did they overcome that? Sometimes they're forced to. They lost a job, or somebody gets sick, or they lost health insurance. The company was sold, and they're forced into that situation. They got to make the best of it. They got to sink or swim, and they got to go back to some of it's certain or find another giant if they can, or get gigs in today's gig economy, or buy a business or start a franchise or get into real estate, something to provide some income. What advice would you have out there for anyone that's thinking of, should they do real estate or should they stay at that job where they
could? What I would tell them first is like, keep your job, but let your job be your business partner. So I'm like, you can be on a job, but still you're working for yourself. And like, so you just got to reformat it from my paycheck is this is the money that I have as my net income, and this is my revenue. And so you put it on the top line, and then your job then is to like add more top line, look at it as like sales revenue. And I need to add in as much sales revenue as I can. So really playing the rat race game, the cash flow game in real life. And so if you can, figure out how to rewire your brain to make the money that's coming in off of your paycheck, just like sales revenue, and then just add to the top line, and then, reduce your expenses, and then, get out of that rat race as quick as you can. Then you can stay on the job if you want to, which is fine, but you get to stay on the job. You don't have to stay on the job. And it's a whole different experience. For me personally, once I didn't have to be on the job anymore, I kept getting promoted. It was crazy. I'm serious. Because you say,
and what you didn't need the job.
When you don't need the job, then you go in. That's what I realized. Executives, like I left Young Brand, like a junior executive type of role. You know what I mean? And like once you get to that spot where you get the stock options, all that other kind of stuff, and you get all these little long-term incentives, they make it hard for you to leave because they make it so comfortable.
Those golden handcuffs.
Yeah, it's golden handcuffs. But there's things that go on in those rooms because people are free to be able to express themselves freely. It's like they don't care. They're making enough money where they can say whatever they want to say, or they feel valuable enough they can go to another company if you don't like it, or you got to cash them out or whatever. So the conversations in those rooms aren't the same as the conversations in your normal, I'm finally making $100,000 room. The room that's the next room up there is like, it's a whole nother deal. And so like for me being free, like I don't care if you fire me, or I don't care if I can just be honest and transparent. People like you do less work, you cut out all the nonsense, you cut out all the busy work, and you end up actually getting great results and bringing people together. So for me, it was hard to leave corporate because I was really doing really well. And so that this was a God move on our part, is because we knew the Lord was pulling us to do something different. But I think most people aren't accustomed to making decisions to put something uncomfortable that they know that they're supposed to do in front of, putting, whatever feels safe and comfortable.
Well, that kind of that's good stuff, and that kind of leads us to today's sponsor, which is you. Do you want to tell us, who today's sponsor is? Tell us about you, where you can, the website. You'll talk right out of the camera. That'd be
talk right into the guests. Well, my name is John Mays, along with Joy Mays. We're Coach John and Joy. We love to help married couples do what I was just talking about, which is to help you to be able to replace your income with real estate investing. If you want to reclaim your time and be able to put the things that you've been purposed to do first, in your time first, and your kids first, and your family first, truly, then to reclaim your time through real estate investing. We'd love to help you to do it. Find the easiest and best ways to do it is what we specialize in, specifically for couples, because we like working with couples because we can. We have the freedom to be able to do that. And so we got a great community of couples who we get a chance to work together in that environment. You can find us on Facebook for sure. You can text this number, 502-632-3005. Again, that's 502-632-3005. And matter of fact, if you mention that you saw me on this podcast, I am going to give you a special rate if you decide to join our community and that coaching community. We'd love to support you on your journey. So that's the best way to get in contact with us. You can go to millionairemarriages.com. There's some information there, but texting is probably the best way. If you're part of this group, you're going to want to text me because I got something special for you.
Awesome. And the link is in the description. So when you go on, you can look at our show notes and you can see the link in the description.
And I believe the book's on Amazon. And what was the name of the book again? If people want to pick it up on Amazon, your website.
Yeah. So it's called Mom and Pop Millionaire Marriages. Financial Freedom is Better Together. And so it's a really cool book because it's like 2 books for one. And so we do a 2 for 1 because it's like, for one, I wanted to read my own book, and Joy would always take my book or they'd get misplaced. So we got different colors so that you can use your book. I use
It's not the same book.
it is the same book, but you read it alongside each other. And because there's some his and hers, and there's a couple.
Oh, okay. So there's okay.
Yeah, a couple of nuanced differences, you know, for the his and her version. But it is a really cool, and it gives you a chance to write it and do some workbook activities and answer some questions together. That'll help you to make some of the decisions that we just talked about.
I love that. I love that. And so, can you share a success story of a couple that you coached that achieved both financial breakthroughs and a deeper connection in their marriage?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we first got started, this is where people always thought we were marriage coaches. And we were like, look, we're not marriage coaches. This is what we would say. We're not marriage coaches.
Right.
And we just, you know, we're real estate coaches. Like, we're here to help you in real estate. But when couples get together, we created a boot camp. And so every once in a while, like once or twice a year, we'll do like a 30-day boot camp where we'll bring couples in together and take them through vision. We'll give them a communication assessment called the flight assessment, and then send them to an outside consultant to be able to unpack how they communicate together. And then we'll have like daily communication challenges all the way through. Then we give them into the shared money mindset where we take them through like these different rich dad, poor dad type activities, but then we put all their finances into a specific income statement and a balance sheet so they can kind of really get a feel for how to invest. And then we take them to another week, which is like a deeper dive into the criteria of real estate investing that's going to match. And so ultimately, it's like a 4-week program that we put together to help couples to be able to really get on the same page and then to define what specifically they're going to need to get out of it.
You know what I really love about what you guys are doing is that it seems like there is a focus on the family. There is a focus on family groups of all types. And if you're working with individuals, you're working with couples that are together that are doing their thing, and children. It seems like, because I'm sure at some point they're going to need Master Builders Academy.
Absolutely.
And at some point they're going to need, so at every stage, life stage, you'll be able to provide that guidance and help. And I love that you're that you putting yourself out there, right, by being an example and a model for a lot of men to follow. And I think that is super encouraging. And so what we want to do is just really thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for hanging out with us on our first podcast, and as we spend time, and we were just definitely grateful.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. This has been wonderful. And so to all those out there, these two guys really do this game. They do this business. They're hands-on. You see them in the streets. You can see the record of people who they work with who speak highly of them. And so it's just a pleasure to be in community together. And, obviously I get to work closely with Hampton at Korea and at Milton. I'm going to tell you, everything that you do just seems to shine and be done with a level of excellence. So I appreciate what you represent. And so anytime, just appreciate it.
Thank you. Will you join us? Will you come back, man?
Hey, only if you let me bring my honey dip.
Of course. Of course. We asked for joy first.
Right.
I got an amazing. So she said, said, get your own pay. I guess we'll go ahead and, so we accept. Yeah, we'll do. Right. And so here we are. I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock.
And we'll catch you on the flip side of the Investor Tribe. Take care.
The Investor Tribe podcast is a production of the Investor Tribe. To learn more, visit invtribe.com.